welcome to another session, interesting session where I'll be looking at computer ethics, computer practice, and ethics. Okay, so you you are through to my YouTube channel, Morgan Epika Izod Kama Jr. Ensure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification bell button so that you get updated every time I'm posting a new video. Okay, so without wasting much of your time, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to run you through like computer ethics. Computers are involved in some extent in the most every aspect of our lives. Computers are entirely involved. They are often performed life critical task, which is just very excellent. Their computers perform um, life critical, like difficult tasks. So computer science is not regulated to the extent of medicine, air travel, or construction zoning. So computer science, this one, it's not just regulated to the extent of medicine, the air travel, or just construction zoning. No, it's I can say right now, like computer science, it's everywhere in all sector. It covers almost all sector. Without computer science, so each and every this schools that every person needs to have the basic knowledge of computer science and computer practical ethics. So computers are involved in some extent in most every aspect of our life. Yeah. And then let's look at the ethics. Ethics, these are just standard of moral conduct. So ethics, these are standard of moral conduct. Okay, so we also have standards of rights and wrong behavior. So there are those standards of right and wrong behavior. A gauge of a person, integrity. Okay, the basis of trust and cooperation in relation with others. Okay, ethical principles. So ethical principles, these are tools that I use to think through difficult situations. So these are just tools that I use to think through difficult situations. Okay, like for example, the three useful ethical principles. We have number one, we need to an act is ethical if all society benefit from the act. So the act or anything that a person is doing, it becomes ethical if all people from the society are benefiting from that act. Okay, so an act is considered to be ethical if people are treated as an end and not as the mean to an end. Yeah, so that one also is another principle. Then an act is ethical if it is fair to all parties involved. Yes, so that one we can consider it to be. These are the three useful ethical principles. Computer ethics. Now let's place our emphasis on computer ethics. So computer ethics, these are morally acceptable use of computers, that is using computers appropriately. So you need to be using computers appropriately, and also the standards or the guidelines that are important in this industry, because technology changes are outstripping outstripping the legal system's ability to keep up. Yeah, so these are just standard or guidelines. Okay, now what are some of the ethics for computer profession? So a computer profession, these are the experts in their field. Like these are computer expertise. Computer profession knows like customer rely on their system. Yeah, computer on their knowledge, experts, as well as what, honesty. Yes. Okay, so this one is just saying like computer profession, it knows customer rely on their knowledge, expertise, as well as honesty, and also to understand their product and related risk that affect many people. Okay, so it also follow good profession standard and practice, and also maintain an expected level of competence that are up to date on current knowledge and technology, and educate the non-computer profession. Okay. Now, continuation of computer ethics. There are four primary issues. The first one is there are four primary issues under computer ethics. The first one is privacy. Privacy is just a responsibility to protect data about an individual. So in a computer, even in a computer or anywhere else, you need to have privacy, where you need to have to protect someone's to protect data or information about a person. Don't just disclose everything that you've heard or everything that you see. Yeah. Then accuracy, it talks about the ability of the data collected to authenticate. The ability of the data collectors, the ability of the data collectors to authenticate, or rather informate to authenticate information and ensure it is accuracy. Okay, that is just accuracy. Then third one is property. So property, who owns information and software, and how they can be sold and exchanged. Then the fourth one, it is access. Access is just having the responsibility of the data collectors to control access and determine what information a person has the right to obtain about others, and how the information can be used. That is access. Okay. Then okay, so problem with large database. So the problem with large database is that, number one, spreading of information without consent. So the database becomes larger, people be spreading information without consent. This simply means that some large companies use medical records and credit records as a factor in important personnel decision. Okay. Then spreading inaccurate information. That's the problem of large database. Mistakes in one computer file can easily migrate to others. Not only that, inaccurate data may linger for a year. Okay. Then let's look at the USA federal privacy laws. Okay, so under the general federal privacy laws, like from the Freedom of Information Act 1968, the Privacy Act of 1974, it talks about the Electronic Communication Privacy Act of 1986, and the Computer Marching and Privacy Protection Act of 1988, Computer Security Act of 1987, and the Federal Internet Privacy Protection Act of 1999. Okay. Then the privacy laws affecting private institutions, these are the Affairs Credit Reporting, that is Act 1970s, and the Right to Financial Privacy, that is the Act of 1978, the Privacy Protection Act of 1980, and the Cable Communication Policy Act of 1984. Then the Electronic Communication Privacy Act of 1986, the Video Privacy Protection Act of 1988, Consumer Internet Privacy Protection Act of 1999, and Communication Privacy and Consumer Empowerment Act of 1997. Then we also have the Data Privacy Act of 1997. Okay, now what are some of the private networks? Private networks, like here, this is where we have employers may legally monitor the electronic mails. In 2001, 63% of the company had monitored their employee internet connection, including about two-thirds of the billion electronic messages sent by 40 million email users. Okay. Then most online services reserve the right to censor content. Yeah, some of these search engines on the internet, they usually have these rights to censor content. So if The content is uncensored, meaning that it is 18 plus. But if it is censored, if it is censored, anyone can have access to those information. If it is uncensored, then meaning that that info, it is to privacy. Yeah. So these rights leads to contentious issues of over the property rights versus the free speech, or the free speech and privacy. Okay, so the internet and the website. Okay, so most people don't worry about the email privacy on the web due to illusion and anonymity. Okay, so each email you send result in at least 3 to 4 copies that is being stored on the computer. So each email that you send is just in at least 3 to 4 is being stored in different computer. Okay, so website. Okay, so then we have what we call the spyware. The spyware, which is just a software that tracks your online movement, mines the information stored on your computer or users on your computer for some task you know nothing about. Okay, the general internet issues, like you've got informatory interchange. Even in computer science, there is informatory internet changes. Okay, informatory internet change of message via internet, like it can either be emails, chat room, etc, etc. Then the chain mails. Okay, virus warning houses. Then we have spam, which is unsolicited bulk emails. Okay, email etiquettes. What are some of the email etiquettes? Email etiquettes: you need to promptly respond to message, then delete messages after you read them if you don't need to save them. So these are the email etiquette: delete messages after you've read them if you don't want to save them. Okay, then don't send messages you couldn't want others to read. These are the email etiquettes. Then keep the message short and to the point. These are the email etiquettes. Don't type in all capital letters. These are email etiquette. Be careful with sarcasms. Okay, the sarcasm. Be careful with the sarcasm and the and humor in your message. Okay, so these sarcasm, like, don't come out sarcastic, and yeah, ensure that you all have the reasoning mind should be there in almost all the messages. Okay, internet content and free speech issues, like information on the internet include the hate, violence, and information that is harmful for kids, children, and how much of this should be regulated. Then you need to do filter and solve. So you need to do filter to solve problem or to create more. Okay, now internet content free speech issues. Okay, continuation. Okay, in web, like in the website, information is used for the coursework and research lab reliable. Like, this one is just a question, like, is the website information used for coursework and research reliable? The answer is no, because a lot of people are using internet for something else. You can be searching for something, like you pretend to talk a visa, I'll be searching for this, but before you know it, to be shifted to the other website for other things that will motivate you at that particular time. Information ownership issues. These are illegal software copying, that is pirating, infringement. So infringement. These are the infringement of copyrights by copying of picture or text from the web page. Then plagiarism. These are just plagiarism by copying text from other sources when the original work is expected. Okay, then the other terms that are used in Computer ethics is intellectual property. These are intangible creation protected by law. Then the trade secret. These are intellectual work or products belonging to a business not in public domain. Then copyrights. Copyrights, these are statutory grant protecting intellectual property from copying by others for 28 years. Okay, copyrights. Okay, for 28 years. So no one will copy it. Okay, so you own the copyrights. So if you own your own copyrights, meaning that no one will copy them for the next 28 years. Then patents. These are legal documents granting the owner exclusive monopoly on an invention for 17 years. Okay, so patent, this is where they'll give you period of 17 years where it's only going to be you with that thing, no one else. Okay, there are those ideas. Then copyright laws, software developer or companies they work for on their program. Okay, software developers, yes. So it's only, even if you can develop a software, but the company that you work for it owns the program. Okay, software buyers, these only own the right to use. So software buyers, they just own the right to use the software. Then the software, to use the software according to the license agreement. Yeah. Then no copying or reselling, as well as lending, renting, leasing, or distributing is legal without the software owner permission. Okay, software license. There are 4 software license. We have the public domain that gives you access to the public. Then we have the freeware, we have the shareware, we've got all right reserved. I'm sure you've seen these licenses before. This has been your host Morgan Epika Izorikama Jr. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more interesting videos and medicals as well as computer science.